Back on the Sixers.com Firstrust Bank Coaches Corner, joined by assistant Billy Lange. First of all, Billy, we're talking a day after the Sixers had that tough moment Wednesday night. The game was postponed. So you guys were waiting around for about an hour before the game was called. What were you guys doing inside the locker room?
From a coach's standpoint, we were starting to plan practice for today in case the game wasn't planned. And then, because at one point it was 50-50. We didn't know. It never looked great that we were going to play, but it didn't look as dismal as it turned out. So when it was 50-50, we started planning practice as if the game would be canceled. And then, slowly but surely, someone would take their tie off or take their jacket off, and then someone's in a sweatshirt. And before you know it, everybody's changed in anticipation the game was going to be canceled. And how quick could we get out to beat the traffic, because we knew that it would probably not go off.
Well, in terms of big picture news from Wednesday, it was that Joel Embiid got bumped up 4 minutes to 28 minutes. And what people may not know, you are the minute man, correct, for Joel Embiid? You have to keep track of that all the time?
I'm the guy that has to keep track of his minutes in conjunction with Todd Wright, who's our assistant coach for strength and conditioning, and a plethora of doctors who are behind breathing down our necks to do the right thing. It's all right for the right purpose. It's just to keep Joel healthy, to manage his minutes with this case study of someone that's never happened before, to have a guy be out for 2 years at this size, at this weight, and come back. So we just want to do the right thing. So it's quite a responsibility. It's a hectic when the game starts getting down to crunch time and it's at 23:40, and how do you manage those last 20 seconds? Pretty neat.
From a coaching standpoint, just how much more can you get out of 4 more minutes?
Yeah. Well, it's how you use them. So the challenging part with Joel with the 24 is that we wanted to play him 2 4-minute segments in the first period and 2 4-minute segments in the fourth, so it only left for really 2 segments in the second and third quarter. So what the additional 4 minutes do is it allows us to make a decision. Do we play him like a second 4-minute segment in either the second or third? Do we save those 4 minutes and add them to a 5-minute segment here or a 5-minute segment there? I mean, the reality is Joe probably can't play at a high level right now more than 4 to 5 consecutive minutes. So I think we have to be cautious on how we use them, but we have flexibility at least now. I don't have to turn around and beg for 30 extra seconds.
Sixers starting on Friday have a back-to-back at home coming up, first against the Orlando Magic, then against the Boston Celtics. First, Billy, with Orlando, Serge Ibaka added this offseason, and the first time around, there have been a lot of close games this season. That was one of them.
Yeah, that was a great game, one that we really had in our hands, up until the last 60 seconds. We execute much better now than we did then. It doesn't guarantee us a win, but I think we're much more comfortable in those situations. We're much more prepared, not only as a staff, but our players. They've played together in a few of those close game situations that we talk about all the time. And, our guys should feel confident going into the game tomorrow.
And with Boston, the Celtics have Al Horford back. He missed some time in the middle of the month. And they also are a pretty good passing team.
Well, like Horford, and you had mentioned Ibaka from Orlando, they both give you the same problems, right? They could either play the 4 or they can play the 5. And when they go to the 5, they do the same things that a 4-man would do. They're going to stretch you away from the basket. Not so much 3, although they can hit them, but they can pop, and they're effective shooters in that long 2 range. Those are the shots you want to give up, but those 2 guys can make them at a pretty good rate. So when they're at the 5, it's a challenge for, Joel and Jaleel and Rashawn. When they're at the 4 now and you're playing in there with Dario and Ersan, they're offensive rebounders, the post players, so they present the same challenges. Where Boston really gets you and where they use Horford well, as you mentioned, is they move the ball very, very well. We're 7th in the NBA in assists. We're actually proud of our ball movement. It gets a little lost sometimes in our turnover numbers, but we're actually passing the ball quite well. So I feel like the way we train every day against each other prepares us more for playing Boston than, let's say, maybe a year ago. But bottom line is, you put out Isaiah Thomas out there, and Avery Bradley is a very good backcourt, and Al Horford, and a team that builds its basketball on a passing culture. They're a challenge for us.
Great insights, per usual, from Sixers assistant coach Billy Lange. Sixers start a stretch of 4 games in 5 nights on Friday at 7 o'clock versus Orlando.